Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist. I own 53 units of real estate and I help coach people to buy their first multifamily deal. Today I want to talk about eco. And it's kind of funny. So I work at a pretty big, well-known hospital. And then when you work at big brand name hospitals like Stanford or Harvard, a lot of people that work there end up getting a really, really big ego. Right? And for me, I've always been very cognizant of not trying to let my success get to my head, to really keep an open mind, and to always have that learner mindset and that growth mindset. And, for me, the more I've learned, the more success that I've built, the more wealth I've built, the more I realize I don't know, right? Like, back when I was literally, probably worth less than $1 million, and I became a director of pharmacy the first time, I thought I knew everything. I thought I was smart. I thought I was great. But the longer I become in leadership, the more I realize there's just a lot I don't know, right? But I am, humble enough to admit when I'm wrong. I'm humble enough to know when to ask for help, and I'm humble enough to learn from other people, right? So those traits have helped me navigate a lot of things and learn at a more rapid pace. So for me, I've become better at becoming an active listener versus talking. Yes, I talk a lot on my YouTube channel, but in person, I don't talk that much, right? I'm actually pretty shy, and I'm listening because I'm trying to learn from people. So, it's funny, I've had a lot of investors reach out to me to want to connect with me, and literally I talk to them, they're just talking the whole time, and they missed out the opportunity to learn from me. And, I own more real estate than them, and, have a different perspective than them. So if they just talked less, they could have learned from me, but instead I got the opportunity to learn. Or if I didn't learn, I just said, well, this person is obviously, too much ego, and maybe you don't want to hang out with this person. So like I said, as I've scaled to a $6 million plus net worth, I realized I don't know much. As I've become more years as a farmer, I realized I learned much. But we're always around those people in your W-2 where they think they know every single little thing. And if they're the smartest thing in the world, they're never wrong. They know everything, and only they can do it, right? But for me, I've always seen that as a form of weakness, like you're insecure, right? The people who they withhold information from people. This is kind of a boomer tactic where they withhold information as a form of job security. But for me, I always openly share because I'm not afraid of you taking my job, because I'm always learning and I'm always developing. So for me, it's a weird way, or elitist way of only I know, so you need me. But my kind of counter thing is well, okay, you know it, but honestly, someone can probably just learn it in a couple months if they really focused into it. So knowing that, it's just okay, how important is the information that you're withholding? It's a lot of people in tech, they just say that okay, you have an input, go in, it goes in this black box that you don't know what happens. It's like Schrodinger's cat, and then something comes out. But honestly, if you really break it down, what's in that box isn't as complicated as you think it is, and you can probably learn it faster than you think. So it's not as big and scary as you think. It's kind of the main point, right? So that's all I'm saying. I always try to share things with an open mind and don't close myself off with that. But a lot of people have that problem, and it's just a shame because they're just so limited in what they can do, and they just not willing to open themselves to more horizons, and maybe they're not capable of doing that, right? Because they have a fixed mindset, they don't have a growth mindset. For me, I hate to say it, but the profession, or healthcare in general, it's so stagnant, right? Compared to tech and AI, it's very stagnant. Things don't really change, and to me, it gets boring after a while, right? But there's a lot of people, they literally been doing the same job for 20 years, and they're so super stressed out by their job. And I'm just wait, you literally been doing the same thing for 20 years and you're still stressed out. It sounds like a you problem, right? Or are you that fixed in terms of your mindset that you cannot even adapt at all? So to me, I'm that type of mindset, it's it's kind of don't get that ick on me, because it's such a limited mindset. When versus if you have a growth mindset, it's okay, maybe I know 80% of it, and I can navigate the remaining 20%. With that, those people are more action oriented and more growth oriented, versus people are oh, I cannot do this until I know exactly what to do step by step. So That's really what it is, right? That's really what it is. And like I said, a lot of people think that like, it's so funny, like people come up to me and like tell me like the thing they're doing is the most complicated thing in the world, and like only they can do it. But literally I'm just like, well, I mean, it's not like you think they're the greatest thing as like sliced bread, but it's not really as great as they think that it is. I'm like, you're making it overcomplicated. Like at the end of the day, like it's not hard to train someone to do that, right? Like you can literally train someone to do that within like an hour or two. Like it's not that skilled, that complicated. So, it's just a very, very limited mindset. And, those are the type of people that, if you had to pick your 5 to surround yourself with, you want to avoid those type of people. Like you said, like as I became wealthier, as I built more wealth, as I learned more, I'm very, very selective in like who I spend a lot of time with and who I let pick my brain. Because, people have to earn that privilege to do that around me, especially at this point. Right? So, it's kind of funny, like and this is why like you kind of have to elevate your friends as you build more wealth, or have different groups of friends for different purposes, right? Like I have groups of friends where it's like you kick back, watch sports, grab a beer, barbecue in the backyard, have fun, right? You have friends where like you will, maybe there's my investing friends where they invest in real estate, or I have friends who are in the fire community, they're interested about fire, right? So you have to have different communities that serve different purposes in life so that you have a very balanced perspective on things, right? Like, I cannot expect my wife Christine to be like into fire, into real estate, into like investing, and into all that. She's into a lot of it, but I can't expect her to be into all of it. So I need like friends and groups that fulfill that certain need, right? Like I feel like because people are not as community based, and I'm guilty of this, especially during COVID. Like it's easy to like just stay in your lane and only hang out with certain people. Now you expect your wife or your partner to be your best friend, to be your therapist, to be your coach, to be your protector, to be your money maker, to be your emotional support system, to be like 10 different roles. Like you're just setting you up to fail, right? Versus like back in the past days, you used to live in communities and tribes, and maybe you have this person, John, who helps you with this, Jill helps you with this. So, but now we're kind of losing that. So now I'm trying to get back into it. Obviously like when I was scaling my real estate, I put my head down, I grinded, right? It's a grind. When I scaled to 90 units, working full time, I had to like not hang out as much as I used to. I have to not watch as many sports as I used to. I have to do this. Like this, even now, like I used to listen to podcasts when I drive. Now I drive and I record content, right? Because like, I'm kind of tired of listening to podcasts. It's been burning me out. And I want to leverage my time as minimally as possible, because I'm stuck in like traffic for like an hour. So creating content and talking helps me pass the time, right? And I learned this about after talking to a few content creators. I'm like, dude, just like record while you drive. Like you're driving an hour each way in LA. Just create content, right? And they recommended me this mount, and then I bought it. I was like, oh sweet, like now I'm not sweating on the weekends. I don't have to record content on the weekends anymore because I can do it while driving, because I drive 10 hours a week, right? So like it's just creating systems and making things work and make sure it works for you, right? That's the key to all of this. So like I said, by talking to other content creators, like I network with other content creators who are above me, and I network with them to see how they create their content. Like, what do you do? What's your strategy? Who's your editor? What programs are you using? What sponsors are you working with, right? That's how I got a sponsorship with Steadily. Like, I just saw one rental at a time. They had a sponsorship with Steadily, so I was like, all right, cool. Let me reach out, see if they're willing to work with someone smaller like me. And they did. And then Simply reached out to me for like a partnership. So, I'll be creating some demos with them. But yeah, like, Bigger Pockets uses them. So it's just really like not reinventing the wheel, right? Like, and really about networking and connections. Like, I networked with someone with 50,000 subscribers, someone with 10,000 subscribers, someone with 16,000 subscribers. So you just learn from each other. That's nice about kind of school with that community. Like, learning never stops, right? The moment you think you know everything is a moment that you are now stupid, in my opinion. So, it's been interesting. And like I said, for me, I love, like, you have to, like, when you're getting challenged, when your perspective is getting challenged, like, keep an open mind. Know that you might get defensive, and that's okay, but process that information and then see if it helps you or not, right? Knowledge is power, right? But you have to take action on that knowledge too. So anyways, just wanted to give a rant about, basically summarize this. TRDR. Get rid of your ego. Always be open to learning and listen, right? If you were to take 3 bullet points, that's it. So anyways, if you want to network with other people and join my school community on a free trial, you want one-on-one coaching, you want mentorship, you want a Lee Standard insurance quote, or you want to send me an email, click on my link tree down below. It has all those links below. Otherwise, please like, comment, subscribe. Hope to see you next one. Thank you so much.